This segment, I want to do quick fire predictions for the matches this weekend. We'll be having one football match on Friday at 10 p.m. Kenyan time. That is Chelsea versus Luton. Chelsea are missing quite a number of players. You're talking about Chukwemeka, talking about Christopher Nkuku, talking about Rhys James, Chukwemeka, who got injured in his previous game. You're talking about Mudrik, Chaloba, among others. However, with even those injuries, I don't expect Chelsea to lose this game. I would give them a 2-0 win. Being at home, I expect them to actually um, win that match easily. So, Chelsea 2-0. Bournemouth versus Spurs. This is going to be a very interesting match considering how Bournemouth and Spurs played out last season. Ken is no longer in the Tottenham team. Bournemouth have actually reinforced with quite a number of experienced and exciting players. Mm, I would it's a tough call. However, I think Spurs might just sneak it, considering they're highly motivated from the previous match that is against Manchester United. So I would say a 2-1 win to Spurs. Arsenal, Fulham. I expect Arsenal to win. Not because I'm an Arsenal fan, but there's a very interesting statistic about this game. In the last 30 games that Arsenal have played Fulham at the Emirates, Arsenal have won 24 of those games and drawn 6. It is just been reported that during Mikel Arteta's press conference a few minutes ago, he's been able to clarify that Jesus will be part of the squad or will have some part to play in that game. So I think Arsenal have a boost going to that game. I would predict maybe a 4-1 or a 4-0, but I expect a good margin in that game in terms of the number of goals scored. So let's say a 4-1 win in favor of the Arsenal. Another London derby, Brentford versus Crystal Palace. Brentford have really been phenomenal at home, and this season they have had, funny thing, their first 3 games apparently are London derbies. They drew 2-2 with Spurs, which is a London derby, then beat Fulham 3 goals, I think, to 1 or 3 goals to nil. Maybe you can correct me on that. And now Crystal Palace. However, Crystal Palace is a different proposition this season. If you looked at the games, the first 2 games Crystal Palace has played this season, they seem to be a little bit more compact and not allowing more spaces in between them. They have the likes of Eze, who's very talented and very skillful. However, I expect Brentford to squeeze in this because I feel Brentford have more lethal attack in Mbeumo and Wissa. Um, let's say a 2-1 win to Brentford. Everton versus Wolves. Can I be honest? I think this is going to be a really tricky game because it's like a battle of the have-nots. Wolves don't seem to have a striker. They haven't replaced because Diego Costa went back to Brazil. They have Jimenez who went to Fulham. They have a very exciting play. If you looked at the game against Manchester United, they were just unlucky due to refereeing also decisions. But between them and Everton, there's really not much to pull them apart. I would say a very small win to Wolves, very narrow win. However, I'll not be shocked if it goes either side or even a draw. For that, I don't think this is a game that I can clearly predict or have my insights on. Up next is Man United versus Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest seem to have added quite some fresh legs into their squad. You have Elanga on the wing. You have their normal striker Taiwo Awoyinyi. They've just added another Brazilian winger, that is Andre Santos, on loan from Chelsea. They have Matt Turner in goal. I feel it's going to be a really tricky game. Man United want to bounce back. Nottingham want to continue winning. However, I would expect Man United to win 2-1. Next is Brighton West Ham. Brighton are on top of the league so far, have scored quite a number of significant goals. West Ham are coming back from a win against Chelsea, so they're highly motivated. The first game they drew against Bournemouth. However, in terms of clinicality, I would vouch for Brighton. So my prediction would be 3-1 Brighton. Next is Burnley versus Aston Villa. Wow. Aston Villa just had a friendly midweek and they won 5-0. They played last weekend and also won by a huge margin. They have signed quite a number of exciting players. Burnley, on the other hand, are not a bad team. However, they did not play in game week 2. So it's either very hard to read into it, considering we can only judge them from the game they played against Man City. However, I would expect a Villa win due to experience of also Unai Emery over Vincent Kompany. So I'll go for 3-1. Then you have Sheffield versus Man City. I will not even go much into this. Man City win. That's what I hope. I think they'll win 4-0. Sorry, Sheffield. Then the last game, I think, which should be the game of the week, Newcastle versus Liverpool. Newcastle have a very interesting team and exciting signings in Harvey Barnes and Tonali as one of the key people to focus on. I don't know if Willock will be back in this game because he had a slight injury. However, I expect them to have something over Liverpool. I'd go for 3-1 Newcastle win. What do you think, guys? It's going to be a very interesting game week 3. However, let's wait and see. Send in your predictions, subscribe, share, comments, and let's meet after game week 3. It's the Blackbeard.